Welcome, my political friends of the interwebs. Yeah, I'm gonna talk some politics, I know. I'll bet you a day doesn't go by that somebody doesn't say, yo, dude, come on now, hit us with some politics. Yeah, okay. Okay. I feel the need. I feel that resurgence of anti-left-wing venom coming up in me. And I gotta be honest with you, these freaking lunatics from the left, this has been a winter to piss me off because they're still pushing that global warming nonsense, that the earth is warming bullshit. And it's so funny to watch them changing up their story as if none of us notice. Literally, as if none of us notice. And the biggest crock of shit is these fuckers who try to come on and say, well, you just don't understand earth science. You don't understand the way earth science works. You're too fucking retarded to understand earth science and how dynamic it is. And how apparently, regardless of what's going on in the climate or the weather. See, that's the other thing too. When you talk about the weather, they don't want to talk. No, it's about the climate. You don't understand. A weather event does not make a climate. But yet they're the first ones to point to weather events as proof positive, that their agenda is real, or not agenda. Well, yeah, kind of agenda. That their theory is real. It just kills me because I can still remember very vividly. What was it? Was it 2005? Katrina happened. It was 2005. Hurricane Katrina hit New Orleans. By the way, the hurricane actually, in reality, the truth of it is the hurricane is not what fucked up New Orleans. The levees breaking is what fucked up New Orleans. Okay, they actually made it through the hurricane pretty unscathed in the grand scheme of things. But anyway, I can still remember at the time hearing all of these scientists, or these people, by the way, that aren't retarded and understand earth science. Okay, I can still remember them at the time. People like Bill Nye, the science guy. Okay, spewing this nonsense about how, hey, this is exactly what's going to happen from now on. This is a direct result of the warming of the planet, blah, 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 blah. And they brought their little charts out, and they brought their little graphs and all this stuff. The Earth's temperature goes up, the atmosphere, the moisture, and blah. Yes. Followed by year after year after year of pretty mild hurricane seasons. Yeah, exactly. So their hypotheses, their science was bullshit. It was bullshit then, just like it's bullshit now. But here's the thing. So then, for the last couple of winters, it's been reasonably mild. I mean, temperature-wise. So, the last few years, they were coming out in droves. Bill Nye and the rest of them were coming out in droves. NASA, because, NASA doesn't have anything better to do with their time but to drive a global warming agenda because in a way that makes them relevant in today's world of no space shuttles or space program to really talk about. So NASA's reinventing themselves as the saviors of the planet and the new shepherds, if you will, of the way industry is supposed to work because we got to protect Mother Earth and all this nonsense. But anyway, so the last couple of 3 winters, whatever, it's been fairly mild, and we've gotten a lot of people from that side of the fence coming out and saying, hey, this is exactly what we're talking about. The days of having lots of snow winters are over. Cold winters are a thing of the past because, we've warmed the planet. We've done it to ourselves, driving SUVs and running our air conditioners in the summer and furnaces in the winter and burning fossil fuels. And look what we've done. You're never going to see winters again. Yeah. And then, I remember, I think it was last winter, we actually did get dumped on for about a minute with snow. And then, of course, they were coming out in droves saying, hey, wait, now, let's explain this. Let's use this weather event, which is something that we're not supposed to do, but apparently they can do that whenever the fuck they feel like it, to explain how this is all a direct result of global warming. So the way this works is because the Earth is heating up, it's sending more moisture into the atmosphere. And then it comes down as precipitation, snow. In lots and lots of amounts. Okay. Yeah. But here's the problem with that theory. Okay. Here's the problem with the science. Okay. Is that It's not supposed to be fucking cold if the earth is warmed up. That's the one element to their argument that makes absolutely no fucking sense. Now, I don't mean cold. It's not supposed to be cold. Of course, winter's going to be cold. Oh, it's only off by a degree, but it's still global warming. We're talking about freaking the whole area, the whole country being, we're talking about 25 degrees in freaking Florida. That's what we're talking about. That kind of extreme cold doesn't fit into their models. It doesn't fit in anywhere in their models at all. The extreme weather events does not ever include that kind of cold weather, ever. Because it's contrary to the whole theory of everything's getting warmer. Okay, and hence more moisture in the atmosphere, more snow, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So here's my problem with these scientists. And you don't understand science. And you need to get some education. And blah, 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 blah. Every time there's any kind of a weather event or weather pattern or whether they try to twist and mold the event or event to back up their theory. Okay? The ice caps are melting. Not true, actually. By the way, a little factoid for you scientists. 97% of the Great Lakes were frozen this year. 97%. Frozen. Yes. The Arctic is not melting away to nothing. It's not. And are there spots that are? Yeah, because you know what? Guess what? It's growing in one area, it's melting in another. That's kind of what it does. It's kind of what it's earth science. It's earth science. Weather changes. Okay? Patterns change, climate changes. Okay? All this stuff happens in cycles because Mother Nature does what the fuck she wants to do. Mother Nature is not a known giver of fucks. Nor is she a known maker of sandwiches. What she will do, though, is every now and again dump some shit on you. Whether it's drought, whether it's, floods, whatever. These have been happening since Noah. I mean, this is just the way things are. My problem is that they talk to all of us like we're idiots. They lie, they connive, and they all have their agendas, by the way. Because a lot of people, your average person with some common sense can go, well, why would these scientists, these academics, why would they feed us this? Why would they twist these things? Why would they say what they say and do what they do if it wasn't real? Well, everybody has an agenda, okay? I have an agenda, you have an agenda, they have an agenda. NASA's a perfect example. NASA literally had to figure out some way to stay relevant in this world because they were no longer really relevant. They weren't leading space. Listen, we weren't going to Mars, and they knew it. We don't have the money for that or the desire to go to freaking Mars. A lot of satellites are being put up by other countries now, and a lot of commercial entities are starting space programs. And because guess what? They can do it cheaper and better than government. That is what NASA is. It's a division of the government. They are, like any other government entity, inept, bloated, full of bureaucracy, and it is what it is, But having said that, if I was a NASA scientist, and I had 20 years into that agency, I think I would try to figure out a way to stay relevant in the world. I think I would try to think of a way to keep a budget, because if not, then that cushy little government job would be going bye-bye. So they jump onto this Al Gore disciple bullshit because it works for them, It works for them. Their track record, by the way, NASA's track record is fucking abysmal. Remember when they were all trying to scare the bejeebus out of us with the hole in the ozone that was going to destroy the Earth? Turns out that was a natural occurrence, and guess what? It closed. But there was a time there where, because listen, fear-mongering makes it happen. That's exactly what it is. Fear-mongering makes it happen. Fear-mongering makes sure that you stay relevant. And that's exactly what we're seeing with this global warming fiasco. Fraud. Now, they're just one example of who has an agenda. If you're General Electric, GE, and you happen to be the world's largest manufacturer of wind turbines, it might make some sense for you to push a global warming agenda. You spend a lot of money in getting into the pocket of the president, or I should say not getting into his pocket, opening your pocket and shoving him in it. You kind of like to get paid. It's all about seed money. Whenever you see the chairman of General Electric or any of those honchos from GE, over there playing grab ass with President Obama, it's all part of the game. And you know what? It works. It's business. It's the way it works. General Electric has done extremely well during the Obama administration. And I will tell you that there are other companies that have done equally as well. Even companies that are no longer with us, because their whole game was to fleece the taxpayer, and go on to better things. And that's what that was all about. And hey, as long as they gave a little money to the Obama administration and maybe some photo ops, Solyndra, and they're just one company of many, Yeah, it's pathetic, but this is what I'm talking about when I tell you that these people have an agenda. General Electric has a little bit of a say in this world. I mean, they've got a little bit of juice in the world of media. It's sad, but it is what it is, and it's the way our world works. It's definitely the way our country works. And for people who are less skeptical, shall we say, or even listen, I have an agenda. I make money on, or used to at least, make money on coal and natural gas and things like that. Of course, the price of natural gas is shit anymore, but coal. The coal industry's been destroyed. It was necessary to destroy the coal industry in order for this alternative bullshit to be pushed, because, none of that stuff, whether solar or wind, can compete with coal at all. So when you have a product that outperforms, what are you going to do? Well, you've got to destroy that product. How are you going to destroy that product? Well, you've got to claim that it's causing the earth to melt. Nobody wants to be on an earth that's melting. Nobody wants that. But it was a fraud. And it was a fraud because they were trying to promote an agenda which ultimately, in the end, was all about money. And you have a lot of useful idiots, and that's what they are, useful idiots going around beating the drum, calling people science deniers, and calling people, these people are fucking retards. They don't fucking know anything. They don't. They like to think of themselves as somebody that knows something, but they don't. First of all, anybody that tells you that the polar ice caps are melting, okay, and at an alarming rate, they're just regurgitating a bunch of fucking nonsense that they probably heard in the Inconvenient Truth, which has been debunked 7 ways to Sunday. So here's the thing. Yes, I was affected negatively, but so were a lot of other people. Here's the thing. There's a human cost to this nonsense. A lot of very wealthy people like the CEO of General Electric, people like the former CEO of Solyndra, there are lots of people who are making a lot of money. But unfortunately, while the rich get a whole lot richer, the poor, or the working man, who the Democrats are supposedly for, Democrats are for working man, like Hitler was for Jews. I mean, literally, honestly. So, you've got these working men that become coal miners, truck drivers, train engineers and conductors whose job really relied on that coal industry. They're no longer employed. They're hurt by this. You've got coal miners that were making $70,000, $80,000, $100,000 a year that are now working jobs at Walmart. And I'm not talking in management. They're stocking shelves, they're greeters, they're, all these things that, don't pay. Because that's the only employer in their part of the country. Literally. And you've got people, well, they should just move. Really. Their jobs are destroyed by a fraud, and now it's on them to haul their ass across the globe or wherever, to another country, whatever, to get employment. It's on them. It's not on the people that perpetrated this fraud. It's not on President Obama. It's not on the chairman of General Electric. It's not on all these CEOs of these media outlets who literally peddled this fraud. Good example, MSNBC. Okay, basically the shill, a mouthpiece for the Obama administration and really the Democrats in general. Were paid enormous amounts of money for advertising that just happened to run during times when, stories were about global warming. This is a fact. This is an absolute fact. Or they were getting advertisements that were about global warming and whatnot that were funded by the government. But, I pretty much know, or pretty much can assume that MSNBC understood the game. They understood the line that they were supposed to toe in order to get that advertising money. Hey, listen, there's a reason they're still afloat, because their ratings are shit. They're horrible. But they get the game, they understand the game, and they're playing the game. As horrible as it is, as destructive to the government as it is, they're playing the game. Sure. The old saying, don't hate the player, hate the game. And that's kind of in the reality of what we're looking at there too. Should I hate, the fact that MSNBC spews this nonsense, or, do I understand that they're doing it for the money? It really bothers me that the money that they're getting to do this is my tax money. It's kind of fucked up if you think about it. They hurt me financially by destroying the coal industry, but yet the tax money that I still have to pay, goes to an organization who spews and tries to promote the agenda, the fraud, the con, that hurts my income. It's horrible. It's horrible. Anyway, it's good to be back. I'm gonna lift this real quick, and I don't know if you'll see it or not, but I did one set of, I think, 10 or 12 or something. I'll see if I can do at least another 10, and then I'll probably do another set of flat bench. I might do some flies or something. I don't know. I'm not gonna bore you with all that. I gotta get rid of this gut though, because it's overstayed its welcome. The gut has overstayed its welcome. Here we go. Yeah. I'm not unhappy. All right, everybody, take it easy.